Good afternoon, everyone. For this month's Anticipate This of the People Manager on Cam, we have invited a business leader, a medical practitioner, and a certified Mom-Prenoy all in one as our guest. And she is no other than the president of the Davao City Chamber of Commerce. Let us all welcome Dr. Malu Monteverde. Good afternoon, Doc Malu.
Good afternoon and hello to our viewers for this afternoon.
Yeah, so Doc Malu, perhaps we can start with this question. For you, what would best describe a mompreneur?
Oh, a mompreneur is somebody who's a mother, whether married, single, or separated. As long as you're a mother, actually, it starts usually pagbuntis, no? So I call it uh, the shift from buntispreneur to becoming a mompreneur. So what's a mompreneur really is? It's somebody na you're nurturing, caring mothers who enters business or do entrepreneurial works, no? Or businesses. And usually naman the mothers, the aim talaga is to provide for her family, especially the children, no? The needed support to be able to provide the means for her family, to be able, one, to have food on the table, shelter over their heads, and of course, the sustenance to go through, especially now during the pandemic. So it's also somebody who's building on dreams for her family. Basically, mompreneurs are women who builds families and communities. So there are a lot of mompreneurs, especially this time. Kasi nakita mo talaga yung spike ng MSMEs, no? We have the the so-called new homepreneurs who makes up a lot of our MSMEs during these trying times. And basically, a mompreneur is somebody who builds on her dreams while nurturing her family.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc Malu. So builds families and builds communities. That's a very good description, and I'm very fond of the term buntispreneur up to the point of being a mompreneur. And I
Doon
can
kasi
already
nagsisimula, di ba, Lawrence?
yes, definitely, no, kasi that's the start of motherhood, no, and a lot of people, especially in the workforce, iniisip na kagad nila from the moment that they are pregnant. Ano ba yung magiging next in their career? Are they going to continue in the workplace, or is entrepreneurship the next step in their professional lives? And based
Yes.
on your description, Doc Malu, I can already recall a few names in my network who would fit the description, and I'm sure and I've seen that they really made an impact in their communities. Now, we know that there was a rapid increase in entrepreneurial activity, as you mentioned earlier, since the onset of the pandemic. DTI, from our sources here, reported more than 75,000 newly registered MSMEs just last year alone. Now, what do you think, Doc Malu, are the factors that contributed to this rapid increase, especially of mompreneurs?
Okay, basic kasi yan sa mompreneurs, no? Or basic in women is the need to earn to be able to survive. Lalo na last year when many lost jobs, no? So because of the recession. So families really need to innovate and be creative and find other sources of livelihood to be able to survive. So most of the budget naman comes, like for example, in many Filipino homes, it's usually the mothers, no, who does the budgeting. Di ba, Lawrence? Nanay talaga yung pinupuntahan. Di ba?
I agree.
Baon, everything, no? Bills, okay. So the mothers really have to be innovative and creative enough to look for possible sources of income. Even if their husband, has work, or whether OFW or has a stable job, during these times, everybody has to join hands and really move forward and look for sources of, income for the family. And you have to remember that Filipino families, hindi lang yung immediate family mo, no? Marami ka pang families na kasama. So that most common of businesses that thrive during this time are really home-based businesses like food processing, cooking, no? And even some agri-based businesses such as, di ba, naging uso yung plantito, plantitas, no? So these are some of the new MSMEs that we have. And especially, of course, yung mga delivery services natin. There was also a shift to the logistics, no? Na hindi na kailangan yung ikaw ang pupunta, kundi yung service at saka yung product will be brought to you directly sa bahay. So with these innovations, marami talaga nagpa-register. Palagay ko sa 75,000, karamihan yan, women talaga yan. And of course, the delivery systems that, the logistics sector has to support the MSMEs. Kaya malaki talaga yung nag-register in spite of us being in a lockdown, in spite of us being in a pandemic. Everyone has to be creative enough, innovative enough to look for other sources or means of livelihood during that time or this time also.
Thank you, Doc Malu. And that's very evident, no, in terms of the boom of e-commerce and the parallel boom and rise of mompreneurs. And we know, Doc Malu, that
technology.
Yes, oh, the move to homes, and then because of the pandemic and then the advent of technology. We also know, Doc Malu, that you have been working very closely with the industry and its different stakeholders at the Davao Chamber. Can you share with us any program that you've been working on to further support our mompreneurs? And are there also other key initiatives on the national level that mompreneurs should be aware of?
Okay, let me give you a background first. No, I'm really a doctor and obstetrician by profession before I got into the business. So I have a very soft spot for women, children, and their families. Having started in the late 1990s with the Alakbay Foundation with some fellow doctors and these women, we started off the Women and Children Protection Unit of the Southern Philippines Medical Center. And then during the Marawi siege, me together with my family naman made a cooperative for Marawi women who are doing the Dolls for Peace project, where displaced women did their yung indigenous weaving into a work of parang self-healing, So it's a work of hope for women and their communities. So Dolls for Peace yon, and this is the Arkat Lawanen. Now with the chamber, we have collaborated with several government agencies to provide training modules for several home-based activities or businesses on a digital platform that can be done. Kasi like now, we can do lectures, webinars, diba? Ang dami. Online ka lang talaga, Zoom, StreamYard, and whatever, And at the moment, we have also partnered with the Embassy of New Zealand to provide and reach out even to the indigenous mompreneurs, or Mom-Prenoys, okay? Livelihood projects, so kasali doon, food, whatever, yung mga ginagawa ng mga basics, okay? Sustenance and training also for the women leaders. So maraming community livelihood activities, and hopefully with this, they can be sustainable and then, of course, build on their family, and later, the community will be more viable or socially engaged sila. So that's what we are doing at the chamber now. The Davao City Chamber is not just a business chamber, but we help out, or we support also and capacitate women and their families and the communities they are with these livelihood projects, which we have networked with other government agencies, and we are building communities, especially during this pandemic. And it's a tough job, but you really have to reach out not only to women who are here in the city, but also those who are disadvantaged or vulnerable. And then mas kasi yung mga IP natin na papabayaan din. So that's what we at Davao City Chamber is doing. Not only city-based, but we're also reaching out even to the conflict areas for livelihood projects.
Thanks, Doc Malu. So that's really a very big part of your responsibility to nation building. And from what you shared with us, definitely we can see a number of support systems available to further empower our mompreneurs. And we really appreciate all the work that you've been doing for entrepreneurs for the region and the nation. And some of my key takeaways would be sustainability. That's one of the focus targets. And bringing technology to cooperatives, because as we know, they're one of the biggest drivers of market, of economy and market in the regions. Now, to close, Doc Malu, with everything that you've shared with us this afternoon, what message or advice can you give to those who are aspiring to become a mompreneur or mompreneur?
Okay. A mompreneur's journey starts really once a woman starts to build a family. So, I know usually it starts with being a buntispreneur, no? And as an OBGYN, I always advise childbearing women to use part of their, di ba lahat, even sa PMAP naman, you have your maternity benefits that help support you during childbirth, di ba? So, put aside a little, a seed money to start and build their future, no, or your future, and your dreams to have a good Filipino family. Motherhood, by the way, is a full-time job, which was already discussed by the previous speakers. And being a mompreneur can be a platform already to fulfill your dreams. But being a mompreneur entails a lot of responsibilities, and not all are successful. You have to remember that. So that there is a need to continually be open for learnings, no? And also be flexible for positive changes and be open for new ventures and opportunities. Don't close the gate, open it, and accept opportunities for your family. And learn as you go along. Be positive. Have a very positive attitude on life. And be prayerful, of course.
Very, very encouraging message. Thank you once again, Dr. Malu Monteverde, for sharing with us your insights and your work in the Davao City Chamber of Commerce this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
And very, very happy to have you with us. And hopefully in the future, we can have more collaboration with the Davao City Chamber of Commerce.
Looking forward to that, Lawrence.
Yes, yes. And
Thank
to
you.
our viewers, I am sure that creative solutions to different problems are still being solved by mompreneurs across the country as we speak. And that is something that is definitely worth anticipating. So that ends our segment. Back to you now, BOT Joanne.